everybody, and welcome to another episode of All Things Bloom. There are estimated 27.6 million victims of human trafficking globally, and Pennsylvania is number 11 in the United States for reported trafficking cases. Lehigh Valley is a hotspot for human trafficking. When we look at the definition of human trafficking, it is the recruitment, transportation, harboring, or receipt of a person by means of threat or use of force, fraud, or coercion for the deception for the purpose of exploitation. And so our mission here at Bloom Beyond the Walls is improving safety and wellness in Lehigh Valley through community education, prevention services, and outreach and advocacy that leads to restoration. Before we get into our conversation, we want to warn you that some of the topics we may discuss today may be sensitive and even graphic. We also want to share if you or someone you know is experiencing human trafficking, please call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888, or you can call our outreach resource line at 484-268-8581. And so today we are super excited to have community partners here. As a nonprofit organization, we know that in this work, community partners are essential. So I'm sitting at the table today with some amazing people who I am going to allow to introduce themselves, and then we're going to have a conversation to discuss exactly how we partner and how that partnership came about. So I'll let you, beautiful lady, I'll let you go first.
All right, thank you so much. Hi, I'm Erin Connolly. I'm the Vice President of Impact at United Way of the Greater Lehigh Valley.
Awesome.
Hi, and I'm Kyle Vickers. I'm the Director of Network Operations for PA211.
Okay.
I'm Lauren Brennan. I am the Flourish Workforce Development Coordinator here at Bloom.
And I am, again, the outreach manager here and your podcast host.
Mm-hmm.
So we have an amazing collaboration that has recently come. It's been really exciting. It's something new. It involves United Way and 211. We have a fellowship here that is happening for some of our ladies, and we want to talk a little bit about our partnership. And tell me about your role. So I know you're United Way, and I know you're 211, and I know you're Flourish.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about how all of that intersects to form this fellowship we have.
Yeah. This whole program literally made my year. This is one of my favorite things that I've been involved with this year, and it really started based on a conversation. Mm-hmm. So it was a conversation in a room like right over there, and there's a very generous donor who wanted to invest in workforce development, and so we sat down with Vicki and Carol and tried to figure out what might be an opportunity for women engaged with Bloom programming to develop skills, to be able to start moving on a career path. Mm-hmm. And I remember Vicki said, it would be great, a call center. And so a light bulb went off, because I know through United Way and our state United Way, we engage with Pennsylvania 211, which is a Health and Human Services helpline. Mm-hmm. And I know that the folks who work at 211 just do amazing work day in and day out.
Yeah. He's going to tell us about
exactly. So I won't step on your lines there, but that's really how it came to be, and the role that United Way plays.
Awesome. So talk to me a little bit about 211. What is it exactly that 211 does? Because 211 is essential to Lehigh Valley, not just for the ladies that we serve, but it's something that is essential for underprivileged people as a whole. So talk to us about 211 and the importance.
Yeah, so PA211 is like Pennsylvania's front door for information and referral for health and human services. We're 24/7, 365. You can contact us by phone, text, chat, or self-navigation on the website. So if you call in, text, or chat, you're talking to a live person local to Pennsylvania who knows those community resources and can help people and get connected with those resources and things like housing, utilities, food, health and mental health, childcare, transportation. The list goes on and on. So primarily that information and referral, we get people in contact with community resources, and we've evolved so much over the last few years into things like closed loop programs to see the efficacy of the referrals we're giving. Specialized programs like this, tracking unmet needs to see what things aren't being met, so we can use that data to try to advocate for programs and services where they're not currently available. Utilizing our data in tremendous ways to advocate, whether that's with local or statewide legislators, for funding and services. So, I think our data is, just a tremendous tool that we use to help advocate, and awesome programs like this. Like Aaron said, this has probably been the coolest thing I've been a part of. Absolutely, since I've been here with 211, probably in my professional
I
career.
love that. I love that. And I know that you all are essential to one in my work in outreach, being in the encampments and drop-in centers and doing direct support for survivors who are unhoused. I know that you guys are the first step in providing emergency housing and things of that nature. So I know the work that you all do is essential. Lauren, so now we have the United Way, who is amazing, a name in itself, so much that they do for communities, families, organizations, and then we have 211. So, what has that collaboration meant for Flourish and just kind of expanding our workforce development? So, before we get to that, I guess give a little bit about Flourish, what Flourish is, what it does, what it means, and then how now this collaboration has just expanded what we're able to do in providing services there.
Absolutely. So Flourish, or what I should say, well, let me start over. Absolutely. So Flourish was kind of set up because we were seeing that there are a lot of barriers when a survivor is re-entering the workforce.
Yeah.
And the list is a mile long, right? So we recognized that something needed to be done, and we needed to find a way that we could provide jobs to the individuals coming into our program. So we've had a lot of success with Bloom Creative Studio, with My Sister's Closet. We are able to provide some job opportunities for participants in our program, but certainly not all opportunities for everyone in our program. So, and in an effort to create more, we are always looking for different opportunities for a social enterprise. And I think the call center idea certainly was around for quite a while. And it's just been really, truly incredible to see it kind of come to fruition. And it has shattered every expectation that any of us had. It has gone so smoothly. Everyone is so happy, and that is what we're aiming for, right? Meaningful employment that makes sense, that gives you pride and a sense of wanting to come to work, right? That's such a treat. So I think that this has just been an incredible opportunity, and we're still in the early days. So I just cannot wait to see how much further we can go with this, what kind of other options we can explore. And I think what's really great about something like a call center and something like 211, and United Way, which are just huge organizations, is that there is room for growth, there is room for expansion, and we're learning skills that we can take anywhere, right? If you aren't able to work full-time for 211, there are other call centers that now you have that experience on your resume. You've got a beautiful resume that you've written in the Flourish program. You know how to interview because you've done that in the Flourish program. How to write professional emails and letters and advocate for yourself in the workplace, which is all extremely difficult for someone who is in our program. So, anything that we can do to ensure better futures for the participants in our program is what we are going to do.
I love that. Part of the mission for Bloom is to create long-term stability. And one of the reasons why survivors enter back into trafficking once they come out of trafficking is not having job readiness skills, not having education, and things of that nature. What I find though about what we're doing here, and I want to put this question out, and we all can ask this question and talk about it. It's not just that it's something to do, but it's trauma informed work. It's trauma informed work. So for you, kind of what is the importance? Anyone can answer this for what we're doing and how do you see it as being trauma informed? I know you worked with our ladies, the ladies in our the participants in our program. You worked with them directly to train them and prepare them. So what did you learn just regarding being trauma informed and the importance of what that means to this fellowship?
Sure. So we absolutely emphasize trauma informed care when we speak to our clients. And then just, more importantly, I think this program has helped us emphasize doing that with our staff, making sure that we're not just in training, but having a support mechanism outside of that. Like I said, just checking in. We have a little Teams chat we can do. They have an open line of communication to me directly. We definitely push for them not to have call metrics or things like that in a traditional call center. That's why we kind of call ourselves a contact center rather than a call center. So if they need 5 minutes afterward or they need a break after a tough call, I'm not sitting there watching the cues and saying, no, you need to be back on a call back to back. So they can take that time. They can reach out, they can talk with each other. And like I said, I really think that this program has kind of opened our eyes to do more with our staff, to be trauma informed and take care of them and support them, in their work.
I love that. I guess so in working with the ladies, is there um and I guess overseeing their training and now working with them and you as well are hands on with them through Flourish. What kind of growth have you seen with our group participants since the fellowship started, either personally or professionally?
I can take that. I am completely blown away by the exponential growth of the individuals that have participated in this fellowship program. I have been working here for a couple years, and I have not seen before such like a quick response to the work being meaningful. I believe is a complete game changer. They're excited to come to work. Like I can't express how amazing that is, right? They want to come to work. They understand that if something happens, we will be understanding and we will work around it and we will certainly make sure that everyone is taken care of. And I think that having that stability and knowing that that foundation is solid is it's a true gift and not necessarily something that you would have if you were to just go out and like get a part-time job doing XYZ, right? So to have that extra support for this huge milestone in recovery is incredible because it may not be like a huge salary, but it is enough to get through these periods of time where you're doing a lot of extra work on top of just working. We're doing a lot of mental health, we're doing a lot of drug and alcohol treatment, we're doing a lot of stuff, and if you have young children, you're adding another level to that. So having an employer who's going to be understanding and going to give you that 5 minutes if you need it, that means so much to the individuals who are in the fellowship.
Can you describe for us what the training process looks like for the ladies?
Sure. So we kind of did a multi-level training approach. So we started off with some self-paced modules online to help them get their feet wet. And they do have busy schedules, so I wanted them to kind of get comfortable with the process and go through things at their own pace at the beginning. So that was a 2-week process where we had those modules. They did have access to me during that. And then I came out here for 3 days and trained in person, all things with our CRM, our phone system, how to, deal with clients, how to talk to them, that trauma-informed approach. And like I said, we just spent those 3 days just going through anything and everything. And then they did some practice calls with each other, which, speaking to Lauren about their growth and things, they were like on the weekends, like, can I call them practice? Can I take my laptop home and practice calls? Like,
Amazing.
never heard that before. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's amazing.
You don't have to do those things outside of your work schedule, but just so excited to do that. So they did practice calls with each other. We get a large volume of emails for people that either have trouble contacting 211, wait times are high, or their phone isn't dialing out, or just that's their preferred method of communicating. So we had them reach out and do outbound calls so they could see what the need was. They could have some information going in. So it took some of the pressure off of getting an incoming call in and not knowing what that need is. So I thought it was really cool. We could start off with, them being able to prep a little bit for that call. So baby steps into those live calls there. And we're still, like I said, every day, that they check in, they are practically begging me to listen to their calls, which I've never had that before either.
Yeah.
I don't have to go through and periodically check. They're like, hey, can you listen to this call? I think it went really well, or would you have done something different? So that process is continuing, and like I said, that's part of that support, going forward. So like I said, we started off with a 2-week self-paced module, did 3 days of in-person training, and followed up with those practice calls and outbound calls, and then eventually taking those live calls, in a queue when someone calls in from the Lehigh area.
I was just going to say, what I love particularly about this program is that it's literally a win-win-win. So, we were talking about growth of the women engaged in the program. So professional, personal growth, right? It also benefits PA211 because the staff at PA211, one of the first questions was how can we adapt our training and our work to make sure that we are, we're already doing really well. How can we even bring it up a level to make sure that we are the most trauma informed we can be? Helps add staffing to answer the phones and to be there on the other end of the call when folks are looking for help. And the third win is it helps the community, right?
Absolutely.
So when you call, you know that someone is on the line that can really help you, and in many cases has been there and has worked to navigate the system and can really empathize with where you are. You don't know when you pick up the phone. It could be someone, because people call 211 for tons of reasons. They might be looking for early childhood centers. They might be in crisis, right? And so being able to be there on the other end of the line for whatever that call brings is really a gift to the community.
I think, and in that vein, I think there's a fourth and a fifth win. The restoration of dignity, not only for the ladies that are on the call line, but because of what they've been through and what they have survived, they restore dignity to the one that they're on the line with. So it's an amazing way, in that vein of them giving back to what was given to them, because some of them had to do 211, to get what they need. And I think the fifth win has to do with you. The fifth one has to do with you because in this work, there are not enough men. So for the fact that the ladies, even though you came in through the vein of 211, you are a male who came into their space, but the way you handled them, and I came through the kitchen a couple of the training days, but the fact that they trust you, the fact that they would come to you to say, listen, check in on me, listen to this, coming from where they have come from, with not having healthy relationships with males, that speaks volumes to what you have done, not only on the behalf of 211, but restoring the trust of our ladies and men. And one of the things that I say a lot in outreach is we need more men in this work. And so you came into this work, yes, in the vein of 211, but you have absolutely opened up an avenue to say, I can trust a male. All males that are in my life don't want something from you, don't have an ulterior motive. So I think it's amazing. Yes, it's related to the work, but even that they would come to you and say, scrutinize what I've done. That's huge for their personal growth and their anxieties. I just want you to understand that what you've done has not only just been as far as employment, but you've really opened up something for the ladies just in terms of their inner healing and healthy relationships with males.
I appreciate
Okay,
that.
so that's the fifth.
And I just want to put out there, I've been blown away by how willing these ladies have been to take their lived experiences and empower themselves, and their willingness to take those experiences and help others. I just think that's incredible. I don't think a lot of people take those experiences and want to grow from them and help others and help prevent them from having those. And like I said, I was just blown away at their willingness to take those experiences and just spread good and try to help other people, either avoid or overcome those same situations.
I love that. I love that. So this is absolutely a pilot. There's no other program that's happening quite like this right now, which is amazing. To say that we are trailblazing here. So from looking at where we are now, do you think that this is something that other cities and counties and states could do? And what would that look like? And the huge thing about asking that is safe employment is such is essential for someone that's coming out of trafficking, but also what you all are giving can go beyond PA 211. So, what would this look like? What should other employers be thinking about in this vein? How can United Way has big vision, and I know that you all support a lot of, if it makes sense, right, and it helps the community and helps individuals, then you guys are kind of all for it. So, what could this look like in other counties, cities, states, countries?
I love that question. Yeah, and I mean, from the minute this program started, I think we all were thinking maybe 17 steps ahead, right? To like, ooh, this could really there's a lot that can be shared. There's a lot that can be grown. I think even just from the 211 side, there's 211s across the nation, right? And so, what is the potential? I think it's a huge potential to create similar programs nationally, right? With similar partners to scale up this program. But I also thinking about kind of the concepts of universal design, right? What's good for maybe a particular community is also good for a wider community. So if you have employment that's, making sure that the barriers to you getting to work and coming there and coming with your whole self, if those barriers are removed, that's great for everyone, regardless of kind of what your lived experience is. So I think the learnings from what are the barriers that we can address, and how do we address them in a way that is powerful, I think can be helpful regardless.
I love that. I love that. Any thoughts from you all about what this could look like elsewhere?
This is a blueprint. I mean, we have United Ways in almost every county in Pennsylvania. We have 211s across the nation. I fully anticipate that we're going to take this, on the conference circuit maybe next year and talk about this program and just, try to replicate this. And like I said, use this as a blueprint, a case study for how these things can be done. I think the biggest hurdle is probably, finding funding. There's generous donors there. I know there's probably people out there that would want to help support these causes, but like I said, I've just been over and over again, telling people about this. And like I said, we can replicate it in other parts of Pennsylvania. I think we can replicate it in other parts of the United States. And I just really think the possibilities are endless. And, having these four women as that group, I think has made that vision, come true. I don't know if any other group probably would have just taken off like this. So I think they're going to be the biggest part of how we can grow from this is, this has gone so well, 99.9% because of them and their attitude and their work ethic and their desire to do better. And like I said, it's kind of a generic answer, but I just think this can just, go as far as we can take it. And like I said, we'll probably be maybe stealing a few of them next year and doing some conferences and talking about it and see if we can plug it and pitch it across the state, across the country.
Yeah, and with trafficking, I'm not sure if you wanted to share anything, but because trafficking is a global human issue, it's amazing that we're sitting right here in the state of Pennsylvania. But I love that you have a global view of what this could look like and all sorts of models beyond 211. It would be amazing, to have healed, overcome survivors. National Human Trafficking Hotline, so many different ways to be able to give back. And it feels so meaningful when you have survived it and you're able to give back because you know what that call sounds like, on the other end, the desperation. If you've been unhoused before, if you are struggling with substance use, if you're a single mom, look at the daycare, and you've lived those things, it's so much easier to give back. Did you have anything that you want to share?
Oh, I mean, gosh, if I could just provide a full-time job to every single person on this planet,
Yeah.
But I think what I would love to see is that this expands, that we are able to fund more jobs, that we are able to create more. I want more. I'm hungry for this. This has really truly kind of ignited that flame. Like, yes, we can do this.
Yeah.
We will do this.
Yeah.
And we can influence lives this way.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. So many lives, right? Win win win, like it all across the board. Absolutely. Of course there's gonna be hard days, right? There's no such thing as not.
Yeah.
But truly the what I have seen just in these short few months that we've been doing this, I know that this is the right thing.
Yeah.
I know that we are on the right path.
Absolutely.
And I want to provide jobs for disenfranchised people in this country and beyond, right? And this is a great model, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
I'm gonna have two more questions. How can the community, corporations, funders, donors, how can we undergird this model, what we're doing here, support this expansion? What can happen? What needs to happen?
Yeah, I mean, we started this a few months ago, right? And so a big part of that was what needs to get worked out, what works, what doesn't work, and it's going amazingly. And I think over the next few months, we just continue to learn and learn and learn, and share the benefits and share data of all the wins, the 3, the 5 win, right? Like here is how this is helping community. This is how these are helping women employees. This is how this is helping our state system. I think there's tons of opportunities for donors, for corporate entities to get involved. I also think that there's room for state government as well. 211 is a system that supports calls, again, to Kyle's point, throughout the state. And so I think there's also room to advocate for some additional state funding.
Love that. Absolutely. What are your thoughts, Kyle?
I think it starts with people supporting their local United Ways, supporting programs like this, talking to local legislators, county commissioners, state legislators, having people that have the means to step up and offer, to help kind of fund these projects. I don't think there's ever going to be a shortage of people that need this kind of thing. It's just, the structure. I think we have the framework. I think we just need the people that are willing to kind of help us make that vision come true. Like I said, whether it's another United Way, whether it's another community organization like this, or somebody or groups that are willing and able to help fund these initiatives.
Absolutely. Last question is a two-part question. So I want to know, how have you been changed by working with this population of people, and what's the legacy you want to now leave in this work now that you're here? That's the question.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna need a moment for
Longer
that.
question.
That's a doozy.
I'm sorry, I have this
I love it.
propensity to ask loaded questions.
Great
Yeah.
question.
So how have you been changed, right? In engaging with this population of people, and what's the legacy you want to leave?
You're all looking at me like, sorry.
Anybody can answer. Anybody can jump up. You're not ready yet. Anybody. That could be you, Lauren. That could be you, Kyle. What is the legacy you want to leave? How have you been changed?
I think I've been changed, just in so many ways. Like, I don't know how to put into words just how awesome this has been. I kind of talked to some people here and my colleagues that, day to day with, state funding, federal funding, political climate, all the above.
Yeah.
I won't go too far into that, but
Same.
I felt
I'm
like
here for it.
I kind of just said like I feel like we need a win,
Yeah.
and this has just kind of rejuvenated my outlook on just everything I do, professionally. Like I said, I feel direct contact with really good work happening. So, like I said, as a person, but as my work, I just really feel rejuvenated, and
That's amazing.
um,
Wow.
I think there's always that old adage: you want to leave this world a better place,
Yeah.
than you found it, and I wanted to carry that into my professional life and make some type of mark. And I think if I'm gonna make a mark, as a member of 211, I think this program is probably gonna be probably my footprint, and
You
hopefully
have
that
done
this
it. It is the footprint.
this takes off, and like I said, just goes above and beyond. And I think this can long outlast
Yeah.
me. I think probably before long, I think any of these four ladies could take this and
Yeah.
them be the trainers and be the face of this. So like I said, if I can have a small piece of that, I think that's a win personally and professionally. And like I said, I just can't even put into words how much this is just
Yeah.
made me feel
Yeah.
validated, happy. Just I want to come to work every day now. Like I look forward to days when they're working and they send those messages in the morning and they want me listening to their calls and they want me to know what they offered that a client that called in and things like that. So, like I said, that's probably not a great answer, but like I
No,
said,
it is.
I don't even know if I can
No.
quantify it.
It's,
You know,
it's an authentic answer, and you know, um, you in this work you can find yourself speechless at times especially when you see someone's growth. But I need you to not despise small beginnings, and that you not probably have made a mark, but you have created a door, and you've walked through it with these ladies, and that's a beauty that it's indescribable unless you actually do it. Walk hand in hand. I think sometimes people think about putting on the cape and coming in and rescue. We often say that's not what it's about. But when you can walk alongside someone, as they heal, this is a part of their healing journey, whether you know it or not. It's not just employment, but what's happening to them mentally, emotionally, what's happening in their heart, what gets to be produced in their lives and for the lives of their children. So don't take that as a small thing. It's big. It's big. Lauren, legacy. How have you been changed?
Oh, well, this impact and what I've seen so far gives me hope and has rejuvenated me as well. I think especially like working in this field, you can get very blinded by how hard it is out in this world. So
Yeah.
like any moment where there is like a breath of fresh air, like we have to take it. And like this fellowship, this partnership has been that breath of fresh air that it sounds like we all needed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the legacy I want to live. I mean, or leave rather. I think that there's so much more that we can do with this kind of idea. Creating jobs, creating careers, right? This is a life skill that you can take anywhere. And I think going into that mentality, like trade skills are the way of the future, because you can have a record, but if you are incredible at answering the phone and helping people and getting them resources, that's what matters. If you are able to, I don't know, put a car back together or paint a wall beautifully, whatever it is, right? Like that is what gives me hope, because ultimately learning skills and growing careers is my job title now, which is so wild to me. But like I've had 1,000 jobs in my life, and to be able to take that experience and put it into my job now today, and like somehow spin it that it's helping people, I mean, that's amazing. Right? So I think truly the legacy I want to leave is just I made an impact, and I was able to create careers for individuals who might otherwise not have anything.
That's beautiful.
We don't want to make those skills too transferable because I want them to keep
You want them
going
to
on this
stay?
journey if they want to stay there.
Right, listen, we need some
Full-time
space
roles.
positions.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, I've had some time to think about this question. Thanks for not making me go first. I appreciate it. No, I think a lot of the work that my colleagues and I do at United Way, I think about it as we put puzzle pieces together for change, right?
Yeah.
So we see, generous donors who want to invest in solutions that work, want to invest in new and innovative ideas. We then know that there's, we'll pull together organizations doing powerful work in the community like Bloom, paired together with another powerful service organization like PA211. So there's a number of examples in the work that we are, just really have the gift of being able to be a part of. Right, it's like such a blessing. Our work is putting those pieces together, right? And then letting the magic happen. Mm-hmm. And so I think just what this particular program has really helped solidify in my head is just the sheer potential of bringing folks together who are aligned and want to do, aligned in purpose and want to make things happen. Mm-hmm. And then just kind of, you let the magic happen. And that is so powerful. That can happen with housing and food access and so many other things. And that's a beautiful thing. So it's kind of an answer for both questions. It's solidified that for me, and that's something I want to do the rest of my life.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, we appreciate you. We could not have this fellowship without you. And it's something about that word alignment. It's so powerful. It's so important. When community partners come together, not just with ulterior motives for each organization, but an alignment for a purpose and a vision that is bigger than us. And what I heard today at this table is that you have that in view. So thank you. Thank you, United Way, for all that you do in the community. Thank you for having vision and just being passionate about this project. Thank you for the heart and the soul and for opening up the doors that you have opened and kind of trailblazed. And thank you for what you do every day working with them through the ebbs and flows. So teamwork absolutely positively makes the dream work. And we want to thank you today for joining us for another episode of All Things Bloom. You can see our website to get information for United Way or 211 or to get information about our job readiness program. Again, if you or anyone you know is a victim of human trafficking, please call the National Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or our outreach line at 484-268-8581. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of All Things Flow.
Bye.